The author of the book of Judges summed up the state of Israel in those wild early days of the nation this way. In those days there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. As I read that statement the other day, I could not help but reflect upon the state of the church in our generation. As in those days, all of us, whether Christian or non-Christian, have certain ideas of what is right, what is the proper way to behave, what is appropriate, and what is inappropriate. We may feel that our beliefs or behaviors are proper because, well, it's just self-evident, to use Jefferson's term. But although we may see our ideas this way, somebody else may have self-evident views entirely opposed to our own. We must have a higher authority than self. We simply cannot trust our own opinions, feelings, and ideas. And until recently, Christians have always based their views, attitudes, convictions, and beliefs on the Bible. This inspired book comes straight from the heart of God, and the closer we base our values on the values of Scripture, the safer and wiser and more correct we become. However, things have changed drastically in the last generation or two. There was a day when most evangelical Christians were Orthodox Christians. They believed in the Trinity. They believed in the deity of Jesus. They believed in the inspiration of the Scriptures and in heaven and hell and the new birth. Today, it is not so. Many professing Christians are all over the map about the fundamental doctrines of the Bible. Some people who are certain that they are Christians hold such unbiblical and heretical views it takes my breath away. They range from people who absolutely despise the Apostle Paul to those who feel that the teachings of Jesus are entirely irrelevant for Christians. Those who deny the Trinity and so many more strange doctrines that run contrary to what Christians have preached and believed since the church began. There are several reasons that make this a particular problem in our generation. The first reason why people are so unorthodox in their ideas is inconsistent church attendance. There just aren't so many people who attend church regularly as there used to be. In previous generations in America, on Sunday mornings, nearly everybody up and down the block would be getting ready early, having a quick breakfast, and heading off for the local Baptist church or Presbyterian church or Methodist or Assembly of God church. But today, very few people go to church, at least regularly. Many Americans love to say things like, "I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious." By saying this, they give themselves an air of being highly sensitive and a deep person without the annoyance of going down to their corner church with their Bible under their arm or living according to the commands of Scripture. It is so much cooler these days to skip church and ignore the Bible, and instead to meditate, practice yoga, and think deep and spiritual thoughts about climate change and equity. Rather than focus on the Scriptures, they feel free to believe and practice whatever seems attractive to them. In other words, to do and believe what is right in their own eyes. A second reason people have strayed from classic Christianity is that refusing to attend a solid Bible-believing church, they'll instead watch an occasional TV preacher to satisfy their conscience. Sadly, if Christians are all over the map theologically, the television preachers are more so. The only prerequisite for preaching on TV is that you put up some money to pay for the airtime. And that generally means you'll have to have a large church that you pastor, which can pay for those TV bills. But many men become pastors of large churches not because they preach sound Bible doctrines, but because they tell people what they want to hear, and only what they want to hear. They're strong on humor and they tell interesting stories, but they are anemic in regards to the Bible. They tell us every single person has a great destiny in God, and if you'll only allow God to lead you, He'll make you great. He'll make your wildest dreams come true. He'll give you lots of money and other stuff, and you will achieve a destiny beyond anything you can imagine. And they're not talking about heaven. They mean right here on this earth. A third reason so many professing Christians hold such unbiblical beliefs is that our nation and much of our world today have simply stopped reading. Today, with the internet and YouTube and video games and cable television with hundreds of stations, who reads anymore? Not many. Well, that's bad in general, but it is especially bad for Christians who cannot find the time to read the Bible. And with virtually no Bible knowledge, they are susceptible to some of the wildest, craziest, and most unbiblical doctrines that have ever existed in the history of the church. Non-Bible readers swallow falsehoods that our great-grandparents would have immediately seen through and rejected out of hand. Now, the solution is simple. We must get back to the Bible and get back to centering our lives, our churches, our sermons, our teachings, and our faith on Jesus Christ. One of the most popular Christian singers was asked by someone what she thought about a certain sinful behavior and whether she thought this was really a sin. She replied, "I can't say one way or the other. I'm not God. Read the Bible and find out for yourself, and when you find out, let me know." Well, I found that astonishing. This popular Christian singer said she didn't know whether something that the Bible explicitly condemns is a sin. My thought was this singer is either A, intellectually challenged, or B, never reads the Bible and doesn't have a clue what it says, or C, she's afraid to declare the truth of the Scriptures for fear of being controversial and losing some of her fans. We who follow Jesus are Bible believers, lovers of the Scriptures. We're not free to create our own values and standards or to allow our morality to shift and morph with the prevailing winds of our culture. We will not do, nor will we believe that which is right in our own eyes. We will believe the Bible. And while there was no king of Israel in those days of the judges, we have a king today. His name is Jesus, and we will follow him always. Benedict and I would like to invite you to study the Bible with us through our podcast. Join us in our home as we do our morning Bible studies. With a podcast, there's nothing to see. You just listen. And that means you can enjoy our Bible study while you drive in your car, go for a walk, or work out at the gym. Our podcast is called Discover the Word with Den and Ben, and you can find it in most platforms where you get your podcasts. And if you know nothing at all about podcasts and how they work, there's a link in the description that will help get you started.